Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. Members of the Canadian Armed Forces have been running drills and exercises at a training location in the Prince Albert area for the last 2 weekends. Jasmine Pelche was there.
On Saturday, 56 members of the Canadian Armed Forces were hard at work training, trudging through snow just north of Prince Albert. Major Ramsey Belisle says the wooded area is ideal for basic maneuver training.
It's just all basic to be able to hone our skills so that we can augment the regular force or deploy or have the soldiers have the experience to deploy to Latvia.
For the last 2 weekends, the Canadian Armed Forces has been conducting winter survival training for members of all ranks at the Prince Albert Range training area, although the property is no longer used as a range. In addition to the North Saskatchewan Regiment, members of the 38 Combat Engineer Regiment and 38 Service Battalion participated in a snowmobile course, chainsaw usage, and winter operations training. Captain Ryan Cresswell says the training prepares members to live outside in winter conditions.
How to set up our 10-man Arctic tents and how to snowshoe, pull the toboggan, and we'll do some on improvised shelters.
The training area closed in 2011 due to lack of maintenance, but the military has been working since 2019 to bring it back up to standard.
B Company, we have a platoon of soldiers in Prince Albert with the North Saskatchewan Regiment. 10 minutes, we jump in the vehicles and we're out here.
Belisle says the recently reopened training space still has an issue with trespassing.
A lot of the activities that we're going to be doing in here, trespassing, it's not safe.
The area will be used for training year-round. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
RCMP have arrested and charged a man with second-degree murder after a homicide on Waterhen First Nation. Meadow Lake RCMP responded to a report of an injured man at a home on Waterhen First Nation on Friday morning. Officers found a seriously injured man who was later declared dead by EMS. The victim has been identified as a 37-year-old man from Waterhen First Nation. His family has been notified, but police are not identifying him. Police say the victim and the accused knew each other. Through investigation, RCMP arrested 24-year-old Sky Laces from Waterhen First Nation. He's scheduled to appear in provincial court today. Court heard from a forensic toxicologist as a second-degree murder trial enters its second week. 23-year-old Catlin Desjardins Kelly is charged with second-degree murder in the death of 48-year-old Arden Panapakisik in February of 2024. A forensic toxicologist testified the victim had methamphetamine, cocaine, THC, and alcohol in his system. The trial continues tomorrow. A commercial semi has been pulled off the roads, the Corman Park Police Service calling it a dangerously defective vehicle. The service says both sides of the semi's cab had been smashed out and covered with duct tape, obstructing the driver's ability to see the road and other drivers. The windshield was also severely damaged with multiple fractures and marks blocking the driver's view. The service says the main exterior window was also shattered and held in place with duct tape. The truck had been reported by an off-duty RCMP member and stopped on Highway 11 in the RM of Corman Park yesterday. It was immediately towed and taken out of service. The professional driver was issued citations under the Traffic Safety Act. Jeff, there you go. Let's hear what's going on with the weather today.
Well, today, look, bottom line is, John, we have got ourselves a warm stretch of weather in store for a large portion of certainly the western prairies, Manitoba, a little on the outside looking in some respects, but ultimately we're keeping our eye on this area of snow that sort of slid through Saskatchewan in sort of a northeasterly line or southeasterly line coming out of the northeastern part of Alberta, but angling through Saskatchewan. We expect that to be wrapping up, and then we're getting into cloudy skies, and generally speaking, we're looking at warmer than seasonal temperatures right into the weekend.
A company owned by Saskatchewan-born billionaire Jim Pattison says it will not be selling a Virginia warehouse to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, which planned to use it as an immigration and customs enforcement facility. Jim Pattison Developments released a brief statement saying the transaction to sell its industrial building in Ashland, Virginia, will not be proceeding. Last week, the company said it was not aware of the ultimate owner when it accepted an offer from a U.S. government contractor, which turned out to be ICE. The company said it only became aware of the intended use for the building sometime later. Farmers are facing the harsh realities of high tariffs and low crop prices. The market uncertainty could impact grain deliveries. Allison Bamford asked one farmer what this means for the industry.
Winter can feel long and drawn out for farmers waiting to get back into the field. Rob Stone spends the cold months maintaining equipment, planning ahead, and selling grain to pay the bills.
Most of the wheat is gone.
Crop prices, cash flow, and storage usually dictate when Stone sells his grain. He moved on his wheat a little earlier this year, which made for a slower December. Recent numbers from Statistics Canada show producers across the country delivered less grain to elevators, mills, and crushing plants last month. Wheat, oats, and rye saw the biggest dip.
Prices aren't what you would want. In fact, they're probably at or below a break-even price, so that's got to be holding some people back from deliveries.
Domestically, oilseed processors experienced a busier December, crushing more than 1 million tons of canola, up 6.1% year over year. An increase possibly fueled by stagnant canola exports to China due to punishing tariffs as farmers tried to offset their export losses.
Farmers didn't have another viable alternative to sell into the grain handling system.
But that's about to change. China has reportedly ordered shipments of Canadian canola in advance of the tariffs set to be lowered in March, a move that experts say could bode well for other commodity prices.
It makes good economic sense for farmers to sort of hold off and see if there's going to be a price rally that may carry over.
Back on the farm, Stone says market uncertainty is always a concern, but he has hope.
At the farm gate level, right now, it feels like things are working well in spite of our challenges.
A good feeling to have heading into the next season. Allison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Canola prices are starting to climb this week, bringing some relief to Saskatchewan farmers. It comes as China secures a massive shipload of grain less than 2 weeks after it signed a trade deal with the Canadian government. According to the province, about 600,000 tons of canola is on its way to China. One farmer from the Balcarres area says the recent purchase is bringing a sense of certainty.
We took a beating on canola. Since harvest, the price had dropped dramatically. Right now, yes, the basis has dropped to a decent amount, and if you're moving to the crusher, you're getting a fairly good price. It still could be higher, but we're in finally making money again.
He says he's optimistic about canola prices for the upcoming growing season. Warman is gaining national attention after a major jump in a livability ranking. The city north of Saskatoon climbed more than 100 spots in just a year, landing among the top 20 places to live in Canada. A new national ranking places the growing bedroom community at number 19 overall, one of the biggest year-over-year gains in the country of more than 100 spots. City leaders credit steady growth, strong local business, and a high quality of life. While larger cities like Saskatoon and Regina slipped in the rankings, Warman stands out for safety, which earned it the #1 spot nationally, housing and community amenities, which are part of the criteria.
It's wonderful news, and see us move up 115 spots was incredible, and getting the phone call about, what are some of the things that have been happening, and we have a wonderful city. We knew that, the safest city in Canada, that was a bit of a surprise, and but I think it really is a community effort.
The rankings are based on factors including economy, housing, safety, and healthcare. Warman's population has grown to nearly 14,700 and shows no signs of slowing down. A University of Saskatchewan student is using TikTok to help people tackle social anxiety.
You got to remember that most of the time, everyone around you has got a million things to worry about, and you simply are not one of them.
Fourth-year business student Auckland Nicolaiu is using TikTok to encourage people to face social anxiety and says the process has helped him face his own. He says he was once nervous to film in public, but over time learned to push through that fear. Recently, he took it a step further, lying on the ground in a public place as dozens of people walked by. One of his videos has since garnered more than 22.5 million views, with people from around the world reaching out for advice on managing social anxiety.
I think there's a lot of people that struggle with it, and we're kind of in this post-COVID world where not many people are used to having open conversations.
He says social anxiety may never fully go away, but it can become easier to manage over time with small steps. After the break, a milestone reached for a Prince Albert paramedic. Jasmine Pelche catches up with a 50-year veteran of Parkland Ambulance.
We are speaking with Pat, who is going to be retiring from Parkland Ambulance in March following a 50-year career. What was the ambulance like back then?
Ooh, I started off with a 1961 GMC panel truck with 2 oxygen small tanks inside it, a stretcher, and that was about it.
Have you been working in PA the entire 50 years?
No, I spent 12 and a half years. I was assistant director of Medicine Hat Ambulance Service, and then I transferred here and been here for basically 38 and a half years, I guess. When I first started was first aid. Not much that you could actually do, just basically bandage and CPR, and that was about it. Since then, standard of care is developed for EMRs, emergency medical responders. They can do, I believe it's 9 different drugs. They can monitor things. They're really important in the street and interfacility transfers. And it progresses up the line for PCP, primary care paramedics, and all the way up to advanced care paramedics that are doing intubations, they're doing defibrillations. I believe it's 42 drugs that they do as well. So it's come a long way. I was going to become a policeman, but they had just finished hiring and closed their portion, so they referred me to the private ambulance service in Alberta and started there. And 5 months later, I guess it was, Medicine Hat City took over the ambulance service and based it out of the hospital, and I've been in the ambulance field ever since. When I first came here, there was 8 full-time, and I think it was 14 casual. Now we're pushing the 100 mark. Plus we have dispatch as well. So we've grown quite drastically, 4 times the amount.
Did advanced care paramedics exist when you first started working?
Well, there was emergency paramedics at that time. So if you remember the show Johnny and Roy, Squad 51, that if you don't, check it out as such and fine, but that was paramedicine that started off. It was originally Canadian, was that started, and they didn't accept the type idea and went to the States and actually started in Los Angeles, 1970, 71.
And in Canada, when it started coming up here, were you sort of one of the first, or the second class of advanced care paramedics in Canada?
Based out of Southern Institute of Technology in Calgary.
And how many people were in your class?
30. After we had competitions for 1,200 that initially started, they weaseled that down to about 600. And on final physical day and stuff of that nature, they got it down to 30 after the interviews and stuff. Some of the greatest pleasures I've had is working with magnificent patients, most of them being centurions. I've transferred an awful lot of people that are 100 years and better, and it was great. One of them was the last midshipman out of England that actually was on and trained on a sailing ship. we did do a train wreck in Medicine Hat, so there was the evacuation of all of Riverside area. Turned out me and my partner were the only one that transported an actual patient out of the train wreck there, but that was written up in Carleton University at that time, so that was somewhat interesting. Other than that, I don't know if I can really separate any and all of them. Every patient is a highlight of the dedicated work and stuff that EMS does. Worked with fantastic policemen, both Prince Albert, Medicine Hat, as well as RCMP in both destinations. Great with other community portions such as fire and hospitals. Magnificent staff and RNs and physicians.
Oh, that's great that you've made so many connections and met so many great people, right? Well, thank you for speaking with me and sitting down and having this conversation.
Well, thank you very much. It's nice to be recognized for 50 years of work, but looking forward to a rest as well.
Yeah, it's well deserved.
Thank you.
Details of the new week warm-up coming from Jeff and how artificial intelligence may help detect cancer with more accuracy. So, Jeff, locally, we were hoping for that kind of warm-up to make things really nice, but boy, did they make roads tricky this past weekend.
It is a double-edged sword because, yes, first of all, we did have the warm-up and, yes, the slushy roads and things like that. And then, you know, things in the overnight, things start to freeze. But over and above that, we ended up with this freezing drizzle, light freezing rain. The bottom line is a coating of ice on many roadways and sidewalks. And it wasn't the most pleasant of situations, but as long as people are careful, I think a lot of people are happy with the milder conditions after that cold snap of about 10 days ago. Keeping our eye on this little active streak of snow moving from northeastern Alberta into parts of southeastern Saskatchewan, then into Montana or the Dakotas, and then into Minnesota. Keeping our eye as well on some rain that is not so much hitting BC right now, although you can see some moving through Washington State. We are talking about we're talking about a rainy weekend for those people who might be traveling out towards Vancouver. And, of course, Newfoundland, dealing with the remnants of that. They're going to be digging out in the Maritimes, but some heavy-duty snow there. All right, now let's take a look and see what we've got going on with our map here. So the computer modeling indicating, yeah, that system of snow is moving through Saskatchewan into Manitoba. You can certainly see some rain and some freezing rain starting to show up in parts of Alberta as we make our way into the latter part of tomorrow. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, but we don't anticipate that precipitation coming our way. -8 degrees for Spiritwood, -7 in the Battlefords, -15 overnight in Candle Lake, -12 in Birch Hills, -11 in Rostern, -17 in Nipawin, and Melfort, an overnight temperature of -13. And those temperatures are kind of close to daytime highs. So, okay, you know where we stand. Now moving on to Tuesday, -2 degrees under cloudy skies in Spiritwood, -1 in the Battlefords, cloudy conditions. In fact, cloudy or mainly cloudy conditions prevail throughout the region. -3 degrees for a daytime high in Candle Lake, -2 in Birch Hills and Rostern, and also expecting a daytime high of -3 in Nipawin and Melfort. So that's about 8 degrees above seasonal. Now on to the specifics for Prince Albert and area. -14 degrees, then a risk of freezing drizzle, winds out of the southwest. 15 changing a little bit, but not by very much. And some fog patches will develop in the overnight as well. But -14, not so bad for an overnight temperature. And then tomorrow, we've got ourselves cloudy conditions, -2, winds from the west at 15. And then it shifts ever so slightly, so a moderate wind out of the northwest as we make our way into the afternoon in Prince Albert. So that -2, yes, it will feel a little colder, but not by much. But look at these numbers as we head into Wednesday. 3 degrees under cloudy skies, mainly cloudy, and 4. -4 on Friday, bouncing back again, -3 degrees on Saturday. Sunday, -1 degree, and 1 week from today still well above seasonal, probably by about, I'm going to say 7 degrees for Prince Albert and area, a high of -3, so a very warm stretch of temperatures as we make our way into the early part of February.
Sounds to me like no snow days are in our future. And I was hearing that out in, I think it's Nova Scotia, they had 3 Mondays in a row of snow days.
That's exactly right. They've been doing a lot of shoveling in Atlantic Canada.
On Groundhog Day, no less. So there you go. All right, thanks, Jeff. Team Saskatchewan did not make the playoffs at the Scotty's Tournament of Hearts, but one Saskatchewan curler did take home gold.
Final stone. Now, here's Gordon. Here's Gordon. They got it by. Have they got this? Oh, no, they touched it, and it won't go. And it'll be...
Carrie Anerson, the skip for Team Canada, beat Caitlin Laws in extra ends 4-3 to win her 5th Scotties championship. Third, Val Sweeting from Merrifield is also a 5-time champion. The winners will put on the Maple Leaf when the Women's Curling World Championships kick off in March 14th in Calgary. A new study suggests using AI for breast cancer screenings could reduce the number of false positives. A study involving more than 100,000 Swedish women had half their mammograms reviewed by 2 trained human radiologists, and the other half used an AI model. The journal Lancet Oncology reports the AI group had 10% fewer false positives, and the scans were reviewed more quickly. Doctors say those results are promising, but caution using AI should come with continuous performance monitoring. All right, Jeff, Saturday was a night to swing with the stars at TCU Place. Some wicked moves there. The annual Swinging with the Stars dance competition in support of City Hospital Foundation returned for another year. And Jeff, you were among the panel of judges. The sold-out show saw professional dancers paired with some members of the community. And Jeff, were you one of those? Were you the Simon Cowell, the real mean judge?
Nobody was a Simon Cowell, but I have to say the dancing was terrific and the evening was a success.
That's what I hear. All right. Well, thanks for judging, Jeff.